want to end on a high note, so we've got 2 more stories next. First, we're going to go to the Moody Bible Institute. This was sent to me by Alex. So Moody Bible Institute sues CPS for religious discrimination. So the Moody Bible Institute, they will, it's a school, it's a Christian school. They're training people to be teachers. And part of the training is in your last year, you go be a student teacher. And to be a student teacher with the public school board, you need to sign a non-discrimination pledge, where that just basically says, I'm not going to be mean to people who are gay or trans or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly reasonable.
And the Moody Bible Institute is like, that's against our religion. This is discrimination.
But it's just asking you not to discriminate. That's all it's asking you to do.
Yeah, it's discriminating against us. If you don't let us discriminate, that's discrimination.
Just don't discriminate. You're allowed to hate everybody. It's okay.
There are so many fucking statements that they put out that are like so close to actually being true things that are actually reasonable, but it's like in the opposite direction. This is why it makes sense that you're not allowed to do what you're doing. So like the Moody's doctrinal statement opposes same-sex marriage and only recognizes 2 genders. And CPS student teachers and vendor agreements include non-discrimination language. And they say that would prevent Moody from employing only those who share its religious beliefs and agree to comply with its standards of Christian conduct. Like, okay, you don't need to, so here's the thing though, like this is an issue with private schooling. That's one of the risks when you go to private school, especially private post-secondary school, is what happens if it turns out that school was not completely on the level and then you graduate and you have credentials that are not actually worth anything.
Yeah.
So like that's what they're saying, that, it's not fair to the students because they have done this program and now they're going to the 3rd year thing and they can't do part of the qualification, so now they're not qualified teachers. And like they're saying like, there's a shortage of teachers right now, and you not letting us discriminate against people is harming the children. Won't somebody think of the children? It's like, okay, but if you were actually concerned about the children, then you would maybe just put your
not bully the fucking
aside.
children.
Like, don't make bullying children part of your core beliefs that, make it impossible for you to sign this non-discrimination statement.
Yeah, just don't harm the kids then. Like it's super easy.
Barely an inconvenience. Yeah, so they say Chicago desperately needs more teachers to fill hundreds of vacancies, but public school administrators are putting personal agendas ahead of the needs of families. So personal agendas like your desire to discriminate against gay people, as opposed to just being like, hey, no, we only accept applicants who are not discriminating or not openly discriminatory.
Terran Ambassador says, bad things happen when right-wingers think about children. Yeah, maybe don't think of the children.
Yeah. Yeah, don't say. Yeah, and of course, this is all being spearheaded by the, what is it, the ADF? Yeah, the Alliance Defending Freedom, which,
okay.
I think one of the most amusing things I've ever heard regarding the Alliance Defending Freedom was on one of Frank Turek's podcast episodes. He was... it was an episode I responded to where he was giving people advice on how to, like, if you're ever called into one of these DEI meetings and you're told you need to give in to the woke mob or whatever as part of your job, then here's ways you can ask, like, here's questions you can ask them that'll get them thinking or whatever. And it's like, very clearly anyone who asks these questions in such a meeting is just going to get fired. And so he finished it with like, if they do fire you for that, you can go with the ADF. They're a really good organization. They really help Christians out. And then he like had an aside where he heard it, where he's like, they only help Christians out. I wonder if that is an issue here. Sean Helfin, thank you for the hats. So then he followed it up with like, I would assume that they help non-Christians that are in similar situations as well.
He like has to stop for a sec and think maybe he's the baddie.
Yeah, no, he almost had that moment where he stopped and he was like, hey, it would actually be really fucked up if they didn't help non-Christians. And so like I searched for him, like, okay, you know what, Frank, this is a podcast. You could have edited that. You could have like researched that and edited it out if it was not true. You didn't. You chose not to. You left it in. So I'm assuming that they're going to help non-Christians. So I started searching for it. The only thing I could find regarding the ADF and anything non-Christian was the time when they were defending a Christian adoption agency when that Christian adoption agency refused to let Jews adopt children. So the only time they did anything with non-Christian stuff was when they were discriminating against the Jews. So much for Judeo-Christian values, I guess.
Yay.
But yeah, so ADF, not a great organization. So naturally, they're spearheading the Moody Bible Institute's desire to discriminate. It's just the tolerance paradox. Like, oh, you're not tolerating my intolerance. That makes you intolerant.
I don't think people understand that. Like, obviously within our audiences, right, there are people that do get that. There are people that understand that at a base level. But it seems like you always end up needing to explain that to people. It's like, what happens when the only people allowed to have their stuff said without any pushback are the intolerant? What kinds of people are you going to have left? You'll have the intolerant left. And you'll have the intolerant left. But you'll only have the intolerant left. And if you only have the intolerant left, then
so Sean Helfand says, I don't understand that paradox. So yeah, basically, the argument goes that, like, if you refuse to tolerate my intolerance, then you are not tolerant. So if you want to be tolerant, you have to tolerate my intolerance. But the problem is that if you actually take that to its extreme, then it ends up at a point where only the intolerant people will have a say in anything.
Yep. If you allow the people who are intolerant of the Jews to have their way, then you will end up with no Jews, so you have no Jewish voices. If you allow the people who are intolerant of the gays to have their way, then you will have no gay people, and you will no longer have their voices. And now when you are trying to think of something and try to figure out, well, how is this going to affect our gay community? Well, you don't have one, because you ran them off. People who like to say that you need to tolerate their bad behavior, they say that either because they're very stupid, or because they know that their behavior will lead to the community that they do not like being ran off, and that is the goal.
It's like did you see that trad wife who got fired from the organization that she worked for because apparently being a trad wife is just, like, it's not an actual thing. It's a thing that it's astroturfed. Like, that's almost an exact definition of astroturfing. Like,
yeah,
the trad wives are supposed...
We don't have a lack of trad wives. We have a lack of other options besides trad wife. That was what feminism was arguing against.
Yeah, no, but this was a trad wife content creator who got fired for using the N-word on one of her streams.
Oh, okay.
And then her response to that was to then do a stream by herself in blackface.
So you just leaned into it harder.
Yeah, and then in another stream, she came out and she explicitly said, my goal here is to be so extreme that when people see the dog whistles, they don't think anything of it. They think that's just a reasonable position because I'm used to seeing the person in blackface saying the N-word. So when someone talks about the urban people not having high IQs, that doesn't immediately raise red flags.
I mean, yeah, she's trying to do the death of a euphemism to allow more room for the euphemism. That's what she's doing.
Yes, exactly. And she just came right out and said it. So she's basically self-sacrificing for the sake of racism. Could you imagine that being your legacy?
Yeah.
God, how disgusting of a person do you have to be for that to be?
It would be a very sad legacy to leave. Like, I don't particularly care that it's disgusting, because the person who you're responding to likely also doesn't care that you call them disgusting. I think I more just pity them. I think it's more sad than anything.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.